Mark. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here with you. Mira, always an honor and a pleasure to be with you.
So much fun. I'm excited. Hello, everyone.
I'm excited
Mhm.
to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I'm looking forward to it.
We're
Same
excited. Yeah.
very much. So let me read your bio. Mark Romero is an international known energy healer and transformational leader. A former top consultant to NASA discovered that Mark's music enhances people's connection to the creative universal source. With this connection, people are able to heal their lives, expand awareness, and manifest the life of their dreams. Through his sound healing technology, Mark has helped thousands of people experience instantaneous healings, shifts in their perceptions, and become more powerful conduits for transformation and change on the planet. Yoo-hoo! Thank you for doing this. Awesome.
Well, thank you so much for that. I'm like I said, I'm so excited to be here and excited to have an opportunity to share and connect.
I love how your bio and your work reflects your focus on healing. So let's dive right there. How did you discover the healing power of sound, of music?
I'd love to say it was part of my master plan as being a creative genius or something like that, but I really can. It was something that unfolded unknowingly to me. And I I had a neighbor who played drums, a professional drummer, and he'd been after me. Come on, let's make an album. Let's make an album. So we decided to make an album just to have the fun and the experience of making an album. I had no plan of becoming a rock star or certainly not any plan at that point in time in getting involved in sound healing, but I wanted to have that experience. So we went into the studio, we made an album, and that album ended up getting in the hands of a former consultant from NASA that discovered healing frequencies in the music. And it opened up just a whole new universe for me. Um, first of all, discovering that, and then really what opened up as a result of that discovery, and ultimately how it could help people heal and so much more. So it was one of those circumstance events that just kind of unfolded, and it amazes me every time I talk about it to how that came to be.
Yeah, and we hear it in different versions that it's kind of accidental. Not, I'm sure it's not, but it seems that way, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Right.
Can you
So
speak about those healing frequencies? Immediately, my brain went into, but what are they? And can I hear them? And how do I recognize them? Right?
Well, you ask a couple interesting questions around that. So perhaps if I share how it was presented to me in the beginning. So I get connected to this scientist. He invites me to a lecture on health, wellness, consciousness, the expansion of consciousness on the planet. And so I go there. They tell me to bring my guitar. So, I'm figuring I'm going to play music during break or something. I didn't know. I just showed up, and I am absolutely amazed at this particular point in time. This is 20 years ago now. I'd never heard of quantum physics. I had never thought of looking at myself or the world I live in beyond what I experience through my senses. So I get there to this lecture, I get quantum physics 101 introduction that who we see in the mirror is the tip of the iceberg of who and what we really are. We are expressions of a field of energy that's unlimited in its potential. And so I'm amazed. I'm blown away. And then they start talking about things in our environment, what they call miscreations in our environment. 80,000 man-made chemicals in our air, food, and water. We all have the latest and greatest technology that we've surrounded ourselves with, and 5G, 4G, 3G, smart meters, Wi-Fi, all these different things that are disrupting our energy. We're these energetic beings, but our energy is being compromised and disrupted all the time between the things in our environment and our own limiting thoughts, beliefs, and perceptions. So what they were looking for was things that could rise people above those negative influences in the environment so that they could enhance their healing and expand into higher levels of consciousness and ultimately enhance their ability to, well, to put it in a musical term, compose the life of their dreams. So I'm blown away. And halfway through the lecture, they're demonstrating up on stage through physical testing, applied kinesiology, and brain mapping how the things we're surrounded by in our environment are actually putting us into a state of disharmony and negatively impacting how it is that we function in our lives. We're stressed out. We're not focused. Our minds are all over the places. Our health is being compromised. And then they have me come up and play. And I see people's energy shift instantly in front of my eyes through these physical testing. And I'm like going, what the heck is that? I've never seen anything like it. Quite honestly, it kind of freaked me out a little bit at the time. And so literally within a couple weeks after that call or that meeting, I get a call from Dr. Jones saying, we discover frequencies in your music that harmonize and tune listeners' energy fields, null and voiding the negative effects of stuff in the environment, the toxic chemicals and the Wi-Fi's and all these different things that we're exposed to every day. And, I'm like, I still didn't understand even back then. He said, we want to buy 1,000 CDs from you and start selling them. I'm like, okay, now I can relate to that. But that was my introduction into this world. And it kind of started me on this fast track to not only my own consciousness expansion, but how I could utilize music and energy to help people to restore harmony to their body, their mind, and their spirit so that they could step into being the next greater and grander expression of who and what they are. But can you hear that energy as your follow-up question? No, I learned later you can't. Sound takes place outside of what the ears can hear. Our pets can hear things that we can't hear. But sound exists outside of that spectrum of what we can receive. So this is almost like an energy that's coming through me. And in essence, I use the guitar and music as a way to get the energy healing out into the world. Sound healing is its own science in itself, where you produce a specific tone and it will have an impact upon the listener. This is a little bit different where, yes, I'm using sound and I'm using music, but I'm using it as a way to convey harmonizing frequencies into the airwaves, so to speak, so that people could benefit no matter where they are in the world or what they're listening to or however. So it really opened up some unique and different things. And I continued to get downloads and new insights on how I can use that energy, the music, to further support people on their journey to really reclaiming their mastery.
I have a very basic question. When you sit down to compose, and do you, it just comes through, I'm sure, but do you have an intention of, I'm putting this out from my heart to do such and such? Do you have such an intention, or it just comes through and you're not even there? You're just a bystander.
Well, initially it came through, I wasn't even there. I didn't know. I mean, I was making an album with my buddy.
Right.
Healing frequencies was not part of the conversation or of the intention at that time. But it's interesting you asked that, because one day I'm sitting in the office with Dr. Jones and he asked me a question. He said, Mark, what do you think is the most powerful energy disruptor in the universe? And here, we've been focusing on chemicals and, cell phones and EMFs and these different things. And I'm thinking, well, okay, radiation, something like that. But his answer was interesting. He said, the most powerful energy disruptor in the universe are the limiting thoughts, beliefs, and perceptions that we all hold to one degree or another, that limit and shape our experiences in our life. And I was blown away by that conversation. And out of that conversation, I got this realization, what would happen if I was to create music with a specific intention behind it? So I was doing healing sessions or coaching sessions with people. And where I first got the idea was a young lady who came to me with a very common issue, had a reoccurring pattern of attracting dysfunctional relationships in her life. And so we're having a conversation, and as I'm talking to her, I could hear that she was out of tune. She wanted a loving relationship, but there was something that was not in alignment with that. So I dug a little deeper, and it ended up being resentment against her father for unresolved issues in her childhood growing up. So I asked her the question. I said, "You know what? Are you open to forgiving your dad?" And she said, "Yes." And I said, "You know what? I'm just going to play a piece of music." And it was almost like the guitar played me, a musical piece with the intention of forgiveness. So out comes this piece of music. I recorded it. I sent it to her. I said, "Play this in your environment. Let's see what happens, you know?" And she called me up 3 days later. "Mark, you're not going to believe this." I said, "What's up?" "My dad called me today out of the blue and said, 'You know what? 10 years way too long to have unresolved issues between us. Are you open to sitting down and talking about reconciliation and forgiveness?'" She was going to understand. My dad's like macho man guy. He would never do anything like that. I said, "You know what? The biggest lesson we all need to learn is that the inner dictates what shows up in the outer. Here you are, you set an intention to forgive. You work with this resonance and this energy. You shifted your energetic state, your state of being, or your resonance. Life's always listening to what we're broadcasting and what shows up. An opportunity to forgive the man that absolutely needed to be forgiven in order for her to recreate or create the relationship she truly desired. And she was able to create that later down the road after going through this and going through that process with her father. And out of that thing, I'm like going, wow, I can create music with different intentions. Oh, this person needs self love. This person could use some confidence. Oh, this person needs to release and dissipate the anger or fear that they're experiencing. Or this person, needs to build their self worth or their confidence or have more compassion. So I started, in essence, channeling these pieces of music with these different intentions or frequencies. And then I started prescribing them to my clients or making music series out of them to help people to restore harmony to a particular facet of their life or an aspect that they want to heal or move past some sort of reoccurring negative issue or challenge or pattern.
So would that be steps towards meeting their who they are in a bigger way? They're unveiling their masterpiece that's within, kind of thing. How does that work?
Well, I remember, so Doc made his transition some years after we had met. And so I was kind of like out in the wilderness and like going, what am I doing with this music and this energy? How am I supposed to really bring this forward and really empower people's lives? And I heard a quote, and I think this quote might answer your question. And the quote goes like this: "People think we need to seek enlightenment. No, we are enlightened. That is our natural state. What is unnatural is the state that we have been put into. We need to rise above the vibrational barriers and the limiting belief systems that have held us in a state of unenlightenment. It's not about seeking it, it's about removing what is stopping us from being what we already are. We already are the masterpiece. We already are the universe in expressing itself, unlimited in our potential. What we need to do is rise above the vibrational barriers, being the stuff in our environment that unfortunately we have filled our airwaves and our air spaces with. And we need to rise above those limiting thoughts, beliefs, perceptions, those old stories of lack, limitation, I'm not good enough, I don't deserve, that are contrary to the truth of who and what we are. And in essence, this energy, this music is a tool in a time where there's many tools that are coming through today to help people to do that, so they can remember that they're not the block of marble, they're the masterpiece within the block. That is just, we're just all in the process of moving the pieces to reveal who we really are. And when we live from that space, we're more empowered. We can recreate our lives in any way that we desire. But also, we can really become powerful catalysts for transformation and change on the planet, because we realize nothing's going to do it outside of ourselves. we have the ability to recreate our lives and the world that we live in. But in order for us to do that, we need to awaken to that power and that unlimited possibility that's within each and every one of us.
What allows you to awaken to it? So I'm sitting here listening to you, and I have to tell you, I'm overcome by such a sense of harmony and connection and divine love. Thank you for being this conduit in this channel. And so that makes me want to think, Mark, tell us more. Tell us more. How are you doing it? What's on deck for you?
Well, it's something that we all have to do. I stumble, I fall, I learn, I cry, I wipe the blood off my knee. Oh, okay, I learn from this experience and I continue to. This is an ongoing process. It's as constant as breathing. I love to use the breath as a metaphor for this work. What do? We breathe, we exhale, we let go of what's no longer serving us. We breathe in what gives us life and energy. Okay. We do the same thing with our own energy. I breathe out and let go of old unresolved issues, things that I picked up when I was 4 years old, or, what happened with my mom growing up or my dad leaving home. Those belief structures that I learned, that we've all gone through our traumas and our experiences, those shape your experience, those shape your life. And if you're not experiencing the life that you desire, if you're not able to create what you really want to create in your life, well, then you need to let go of the old programming that in essence is really decoding your experience. We love our technology, right? Well, where's the internet? Well, it's ones and zeros out there in space somewhere, right? Well, we have an operating system software. That's our mind. That operating system software decodes those ones and zeros and puts them up on the screen for you to experience the internet or your life. Your mind does that for you. If you want to change what's outpicturing in your life, you need to change the reality you're decoding, which means you need to let go of those old thoughts, those old beliefs, those old perceptions, those old traumas, unresolved issues, and continue to enlighten yourself in your journey through life, and literally raise your vibration and your energy as a result. We are literally enlightening. When we breathe out and let go of what's no longer serving us, we're letting go of old, heavy, dense energy, trauma, anger, fear, resentment, whatever it might be. That's heavy energy. When we release it, we literally enlighten ourselves. And then we breathe in, right? That's where we want to breathe in self-love, compassion, peace, understanding, these higher vibrational states of being that kind of, in essence, make our life kind of look like a positive stock chart. Always vibrating, going up and down, but moving in an upward trend as we continue through our own personal evolution to remembering who we really are and becoming more empowered and making a difference in our own lives, but in the lives of others. And it's a process, it's a journey, and we're never done releasing. We're always exhaling and breathing in throughout our whole life experience here on the planet.
Right. Yeah, that sums it up in a good way. But I wanted to ask you, do you like to work one-on-one? Do you prefer that than doing a CD? Or maybe it's not like comparable, it's like oranges and apples, but what does Mark like?
Well, I like the group space. It's kind of funny because I've when I first left the corporate world way back when, I wanted to become a motivational speaker, and I loved to speak in front of groups of people. And that wasn't always the same with playing my music. I'd be like nervous, shy kid with two people listening to me play guitar. But I learned, so I love to work in a group. I love to express through music series and online courses and those different aspects also, because it gives me the ability to impact people even when I'm not there in person or doing a group thing online through Zoom or something, as an example. So it gives the ability to be able to do that. But I would have to say, I've always had this passion for mentoring and doing work. So, and I do still do one-on-ones, and I love to do one-on-ones too, but I also, there's this other aspect. I think when we went through this COVID period, the overwhelming message was amplify the signal. We're in a time right now where all of us need to amplify the signal of the light we're bringing forward so that we can impact more people's lives and help raise the whole planet up. And so with that being said, I kind of, I have to go with the group thing. And then this new area that I'm moving into this next year is really helping people and teaching people how to optimize their energy and project it out through their ways of expressing themselves. Me, I like to use music. Perhaps maybe you like to speak or write books or whatever it might be, to use those as a vehicle to not only convey your wisdom and who you are, but to combine it with an empowering frequency of energy that can help support people in continuing to rise above the static and noise in the world, help them get in touch with their inner self and their inner genius, and support them on their journey in a way, in addition to, in my case, musical notes. So that's kind of a new area that I'm moving into, which I have a lot of passion around teaching too. So, and at this particular point in time in my journey, I've gathered some wisdom over the years through trial and error and falling and getting up again and, crying and screaming and laughing and being joyful. So, I want to just impact as many people's lives as I can, in the time that I have left here in my tour of duty, so to speak, on planet Earth.
That's beautiful. Would you mind sharing some of your music with us?
Sure, absolutely. Well, let me ask you too. So is there something you'd like support in? Or, or that you feel that maybe your audience wants support in? Maybe I have some ideas, but maybe you can give me some ideas.
Oh.
Putting you on the spot.
I love what you said in terms of empowering people and that empowering their frequency of adding to everything they're putting out there as light. Maybe we can play with that energy also because it's your passion. So maybe we can channel something really extraordinary that way.
Yeah, I'd love to. I have an idea that already comes up as a result of that. So I remember one of my most favorite emails I ever got. It was a beautiful email from a woman. She said, Mark, is there a way you can make a song that'll make my husband a better man? You know, being a husband, I understand why that email was written. I understand, but my response to her was, I say, you know what? I could play the most beautiful piece of music in the universe, but if your husband doesn't want to become a better man, it doesn't matter. So there's this intention aspect. So what I want to put out there then for everybody is, are you willing to set the intention to shine brighter? Are you willing to set the intention to bring forward your light, your music, your authentic self forward in a way that can impact your family, your friends, the places where you work, whether or not you're pursuing your life purpose for a career, however that might be for you? Are you willing to amplify that and to bring that forward? It's just a yes or no question. You don't need to figure out how. The universe will provide the how. So we just have to be willing to set the intention. So I'm going to assume everybody set the intention. Yes, I'm willing to set that intention to expand and to shine brighter. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just play out some music here, and I want you to just breathe in the notes. Just imagine breathing in the music. And we'll meet on the other side of this. So just take some nice deep breaths. Breathing deeply. Setting the intention. To shine. within you is this beautiful light. A beautiful light that wants to be shined and reflected out into the world. So let go of any stories that somehow your light might be unworthy. Just let it go. Remember, who you are matters. And that the world wants to see your light, experience it, and heal from it. Take another deep breath. So just take another deep inhale, open mouth, let it go. And I always like to combine this type of process with like a physical action. So can you take on an act of self-love, an act of nurturing, an act of something just for you within the next day as kind of like a committed action to embody the intention that you set? And then as a result, just look to see what moves and shifts around you. Look for the synchronicities. Look for the little creative ideas. Look for the little ahas that will emerge, and see what shows up that'll kind of maybe perhaps leave some breadcrumbs to help lead you on your journey to amplifying your signal, to shining your light at a higher level, and ultimately creating and reflecting what it is that your soul, your essence is truly being called to reflect into the world. So there you go.
Oh, that was so deep and moving and powerful, but peaceful at the same time. I love that. Thank you so much, Mark.
My pleasure. Thank
Yeah.
you for the opportunity. I loved it when you said, yeah, do you think you'd be open to playing something? Yes, absolutely. That's a given.
Wonderful. And Mark, please share. We're recording this, so when it goes out, you will have your website, etc., all your info underneath. But please also share whatever it is that you'd like. Maybe if you have a course that you're offering or anything, feel free to share it with the audience.
Well, I invite you to come to the website. I have a beautiful gift of a high vibration musical track to really give you an opportunity to experience what opens up as you start harmonizing and tuning your field. So you can go to the website. It's markromeromusic.com/gift. And that's a great place to start. I have some beautiful musical series that can further help you to tune and harmonize your environment. And if you choose and decide to do so, even ones that'll tune and harmonize what's going on in between your ears, which is always a lot of stuff for all of us. And that's a beautiful place to start and an opportunity to kind of stick your foot in the water, so to speak, to see how it feels and to see what can open up for you as you start tuning and harmonizing your energetic field. So that's kind of where I would recommend taking a look at. And then, of course, I'm on social media at Mark Romero Music on YouTube and Instagram and Facebook. So you can learn more and experience more from those channels. So there you go.
Thank you for the joy of being together, and thank you for this magnificent experience. I
My
so
pleasure.
appreciate it.
It's been
Yeah.
great. Thank you so much for having me, and thank you for the opportunity to share the music and to be on. I appreciate it.
We'll be talking soon. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you so much, Mark.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.